Hello, welcome to Dashcord How-To. In this video I will show you how to use Dashcord to automate the movement of leads and contacts through a series of lifecycle steps that fire for individuals based off of time, data, or activity triggers. Using Dashcord lifecycles can allow you to do things like placing individuals into targeted campaigns as they indicate interest, changing ownership of Salesforce records and assigning tasks to internal team members when appropriate, and configuring A/B split tests to help measure which of your lifecycle branches is most effective. Let's get started. Okay, here I am in a new campaign that's been created to assign sales reps to new leads, and also to inform those leads as to who their sales rep is. I'm going to do this by adding a series of lifecycle steps using the Dashcord Lifecycle Builder, which is accessible by clicking on this lifecycle button that's been added to Salesforce campaigns by Dashcord. Clicking this will bring up my visual lifecycle builder where I configure my steps and make branching decisions based off of data contained within my campaign member records. Lifecycle steps fire for individual leads and contacts who are members of a campaign using either time-based or data-based triggers. Using lifecycles can allow you to walk your leads and contacts through a series of automated steps at a pace that's appropriate for the individual. The first thing that we need to do here is to click on the New Step button. That's going to bring up the New Step dialog where I can select the step to be added. We'll go into some of these steps in more detail during this video and also in subsequent videos, but for now we're just going to set up a lead lifecycle where new leads moving through this campaign will be assigned to a sales rep from a sales queue and then receive an email with their salesperson's contact information. We're then going to set a task for the salesperson to contact the customer and check whether or not the task has been completed within a set time frame. If the customer has not been contacted within that time period, we'll inform the sales manager so that they can follow up with the assigned sales rep. So for our first step here, we're going to use Assign Round Robin. This step assigns users out of any Salesforce public group into any user lookup field on our lead and contact records. Assignment's done in round-robin fashion out of the public group so that assignment into the user lookup field is evenly distributed amongst members of the public group. In this case, we'll be assigning members of our sales queue group to the inside sales rep field on our leads who move through this campaign. For the assignee field here, I will choose inside sales rep, and for the group, I'm going to choose my sales queue A. If I hit save here, now instantly when someone enters this campaign, their inside sales rep field is going to be set to one of the members of sales queue A in a round-robin fashion. The next thing to do is to inform the customer via email as to who their sales rep is. I'm going to select an email step here and wait, say, 1 hour, and then send the email to the campaign member. Saving this step will now take us to the Send Campaign Email screen where we'll select the email template to be sent to our customer. We'll dive into email in more detail in later videos where we cover these link template and related to fields, but for now we're just going to pull up a mail template. These templates here are auto-completing from my template library, so they could have been existing templates that were saved to Salesforce, or templates that I created or edited using Dashcord's email template editor. I've got one here, Welcome New Lead. This is just going to send a simple text email to my new lead saying, thanks for your interest, here's your sales contact, and here's how to reach that person. All right, so hitting save here is going to take me back to my lifecycle steps. We can see here now that campaign members enter the campaign, a sales rep is assigned out of the sales queue, we're waiting for 1 hour, and then we're sending an email to the customer to inform them who their sales contact is. Now what we need to do is set a task for the sales rep to contact the customer. So if I hit New Step here, one of my available options is Task, and we're going to set that to fire immediately after sending our email to the lead. The task owner here can be set to any one of the user lookup fields on my contact and lead records. In this case, we're going to set this to Inside Sales Rep and hit Save, and now we're going to be taken to the task creation screen. Tasks that are created here have a couple of things to note. Firstly, I need to enter a subject for the task. So in this case, let's say contact new lead. And then I'm going to set a due date. The due date that you set here will be relative to today's date. So in other words, if I make the due date for this task 2 days from today, whenever a new task is created during this life cycle, the due date is going to be 2 days after the date of task creation. Hitting save here takes me back to my Lifecycle screen where you can see that the new task has come up. The last thing that we want to add as part of this Lifecycle flow is to wait a couple of days and then check whether or not this lead has been contacted by the sales rep. The way that I'm going to do that is by selecting a decision point step. A decision point step gives us branching of this lifecycle based off of data that's contained on the campaign member record. So if I select decision point here and say we want to give that sales rep 3 days to contact the customer, now I get to look up data from a source field. This dropdown here is showing me all campaign member fields, so decision points can be based on any one of them. In this particular case, I'm going to use the contacted field, which is a checkbox on campaign member that mirrors a field on my lead and contact records, which looks at phone calls logged into tasks on leads and contacts and tells us whether or not the lead or contact has been spoken to. I created those rollups from tasks to lead and contact using the Dashcord task rollup feature, which we'll cover in a future video. But in short, that lets us pull data stored inside call records in Salesforce up to the lead and contact record, where we're using this checkbox field to tell us whether or not somebody's been spoken to. So we'll look at whether or not the field is checked and then hit save. Okay, now you can see here that I can do a couple of different things depending on whether or not the contacted field is checked. If this person's been contacted, I'm just going to do nothing. But if they haven't been contacted, I could go through here and set a new task for the sales manager to follow up with the sales rep. I would do that in exactly the same way that I set my previous task step. I would just allocate the task to the manager rather than the rep. One thing that you'll see here is this number in brackets next to each branch of my lifecycle. This tells us how many campaign members have moved through each branch of the lifecycle. As people move down either the yes or no branch here, these numbers get incremented, so you can get an easy visual indication of where campaign members have moved as it happens. All right, well, that was an example of how you could set a simple lifecycle for sales. This example showed you a mix of email to the customer and internal sales tasks, but you could also use this lifecycle function to create lifecycles focused on email marketing. We're going to cover email marketing in a future video where we can show you how to automate movement through campaigns for your leads and contacts as they move along a buying cycle. We'll monitor their activity and then use activity-based scores to determine what information a customer receives, when that information is sent, and when the lead is passed along to sales. You can also watch our existing videos on a variety of different topics, including using Dashcord to create intrinsic and activity-based interest scores for leads and contacts. For any questions or a personalized demo, please contact us at sales@dashcord.com. Thank you for watching.